wrist drip, slip through the pitfalls. I just wanna chill with the big dogs. House on the hill with a big dog. Make it a ride, I'm taking a lot. So it's about time that I get what I got. And it's about time that I get what I need. And yes, I'm needy, I need to succeed. Know what I need it all. So I don't live with my back to the wall. Don't have to answer whenever you call. Who that on the line? It don't matter, dog. Oh, not at all. Oh, what a gift. Just to be rich and not giving a shit. Just to be rich and not giving a shit. Pinky up, I'm gonna take me a sip.
I need the cash. Money sounds on every bag. Green in the eye of each lad. Pockets so fat like I'm smuggling packs. I only deal with my time in these maps. Role playing the tactician and craft. Art of success if I dub it is that. As dinners and fat guarantee for a hunter. When I see in the mirror who trumping. I need my anthem to blare with some trumpets. Mama's fair for repair and she also consistently stable and nothing could offset me. A boss type beat, lead the starship stream through outer space. I'm a star baby boo, better watch the race. And you'll see me live today and die trying to just don't break. Except all the bread we make with 2 hands. Better get your ball together and stretch bands. Do it all for as long as you can. Get your sandwich ready and go hand. The baloney niggas just can't comprehend.
Yo, cash rules everything around me. In that I am drowning, cause I don't know accounting. Blame it on my school system, blame it on my county. In that I am drowning, blame it on my clowning. Blame it on my young and my dumb, and not knowing where it's from, and not knowing where it's going. Might as well throw it in the ocean. As I put my back in motion, might as well throw it on some drinks. Hit a Miami for 2 weeks, might as well throw it on the beach. I don't give a fuck about the economy. They ain't never helping those in poverty. They ain't never coming here to save you. Waiting on that trickle down in your rain boots. You the blood, sweat, and tears of this whole operation, though. You will make it operational, but don't deserve paid vacation, though. I don't know what I look like. Woo with a fool, I'm losing my cool. I need to make moves, get my community under a groove. Like one nation, so we never lose. Nothing can stop us now. They will not knock us down. We will not chill while they chop us down. That is not simply allowed. I'm not the one to kowtow. Cash rules everything around me. In that I am drowning, cause I don't know accounting. Blame it on my school system, blame it on my county. In that I am drowning, blame it on my clowning. Blame it on my young and my dumb, and not knowing where it's from, and not knowing where it's going. Might as well throw it in the ocean. I put my back in motion, might as well throw it on some drinks. Hit a Miami for 2 weeks, might as well throw it on the beach. Oh yeah. She love to back it up when we hit the club. She love to show me love. Oh yeah. She love to back it up when we hit the club. She love to show me love. Oh yeah.
Baby girl, hold it right there. 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 Baby girl, hold it right there.
I would like to be traded to any other team but the New England Patriots.
Big brain predictions. That's what I got.
Take it off, sir.
This Washington football team beat the Steelers.
Right.
And that person.
EDP.
Yes, but if we lose this game, I firmly believe we do not need to make playoffs. So
Don't you ever disrespect
What's going on, folks? What's going on? Welcome back to your favorite podcast on the internet with the bass boosted intro. I am your co-host, Jalen Brown, and this is After Further Review.
I'm your other wonderful co-host, Shaquille Brown.
And I guess I'm everyone's favorite co-host, Malin. How's everybody doing?
I'm doing all right. Is there a filter on your camera suddenly, Malin? Oh, there it
I don't know
goes.
what the
All
camera's
right.
doing, man.
You're back.
Started looking like Yoda and some shit. I don't know what's happening.
You look like you're on fucking
That's
Dagobah.
some weird. That's weird. That's some weird shit happening over here today, guys. It's not like this. I have technical difficulties. So.
Yes,
Figured-
folks. Want to wish everybody a happy May 4th. May the 4th be with you for all the Star Wars nerds out there. Also want to say that this fantastic show is hosted live every Wednesday night at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time on YouTube. So if you want to watch the show live, you can. Or if you want to watch the replay, it's available as soon as we're done streaming, so you can catch it after the fact. But if you want to be in the live chat, you got to be here live. If you just want to listen to the show, click the first link down in the YouTube description, and you'll be taken to your favorite podcast platform to listen to the show. But to open up the remainder of the show, which is the entire thing, we're going to take our first shot.
Well, some of our first shots, but
We're not taking 7 tonight, are we? There's no sneaking trades going on here.
you might be taking stuff.
No. Might. The night is young, Shaq. What are you guys drinking tonight?
Shaq brought over some Woodford Reserved. Woodford
Oh, there you go.
Double oaked.
Double
Oh, you got
oaked.
the double oak. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
I didn't even notice. It did
There you
feel
go.
or taste a little more
Girl, you got me
flavorful.
double oaked.
You guys come over to my house for one NFL draft, and all of a sudden you're whiskey connoisseurs. This is great. Thought I picked up a little bit of a note. It's nice.
Shaq said, and I quote, "Girl, you got them double oaked." That's how we start our show.
Jesus.
Speaking of last week, yes, if you did tune in last week, which we had a pretty big show, thanks to the folks that came out to tune in to watch the draft with us. We did take a shot for every pick traded, which was, I believe, 1,002, and also any quarterback taken.
It definitely felt that way.
Yeah, which we ended up taking 7 shots, but I found out that apparently there were 9 trades in the first round.
We missed some trades.
I guess so. I don't know how that happened, but
Those last 2 shots.
Well, okay. We did miss the Jermaine Johnson trade. I think when the Jets came back and picked at number 26, I think we did miss that one. But we might have been putting at that time.
maybe that's what it was. On the same topic of the draft, though, we are going to give our grades for how we think our own teams did, who we think had the best draft, who we think had the worst draft. So if we're going to start off with who we think had the best draft, Shaq, who do you think drafted the best this year?
I put Kansas City up there for the best draft pick this year for adding to their defense, making sure they can prevent people from scoring on them. They already know they're a powerhouse of an offense, so they can add a little more pieces here and there on defense. It makes them that much more scary team to come across. So I think they had the best outcome for already a good team. So
I like that pick. Well, Kansas City did have a pretty good draft. Malin?
I'm surprised that Shaq didn't go with the Steelers.
all right.
He decided not to
especially
stay home.
with the heralded little Piggy Pickett. That's what I'm calling him, by the way, little Piggy Pickett. That's his new name. That small digit. Got them 8-inch hands. No, the my favorite, I think the people that had the best draft. Now, this does not mean that they're actually going to do anything with them. Okay, they're still
that be
probably
clear.
going to suck ass. Okay? I just want to make it be clear. Just because you draft good doesn't mean your team's going to be good. But I think the Jets actually had the best draft.
Yep. Still you got
And I look at it just yeah. Now you know why I did the disclaimer. But just looking at the first round, I mean, they got Sauce Gardner that was rated the number 1 defensive back. Okay, they got Garrett Wilson, which was rated the number 1 wide receiver at Ohio State for PFF. And then they traded back into the first round to get Jermaine Johnson, which was the top 5 player as well. And so you had 3 first-round picks, all of them either number 1 or in the top 5 in their position group in the first round. Like, normally you have 14 players that any given team out of the 32 is going to grade as like a true first-round talent, right? You don't have 32 first-round talented players, so you draft 32 first-round players. But for the Jets to have 3 picks and to come away with 3 of those 14 because they didn't overreach and they came back into the draft because somebody was sliding,
Right.
I thought they really had a great draft.
Yeah, I agree with Malin on this one. I think the Jets, like you said, good disclaimer. You got to give those. Hey, don't be misled by this. We're just stating what it is right now. If you buy into this, that's your own damn fault. But on paper, as of right now, the Jets, I think, also had the best drafts. Picking up Jermaine Johnson, like the way that they were able to finesse him at the end was just like the cherry on top. Getting Wilson and Sauce was huge, but being able to get Jermaine Johnson at FSU was huge at the end because he just kept sliding and sliding and sliding, and they were like, well, fuck it, we can go get him too. And they also were able to get a solid running back in the later rounds, Brees Hall, and then Jeremy Ruckert out of Ohio State. He's a good blocking tight end, which I think just adds a little bit more for the run game right there, and gave a little more protection at the very end for Zach Wilson, which everybody knows he needs all the protection he can get. So I feel like they hit all their bases and got a bunch of great talent in the beginning too. So props to the Jets.
You know who's most excited about the Jets draft?
Who's that?
Joe Buck. Want to know why Joe Buck is the most excited?
Why is that?
That man out there right now having wet dreams about the fact being able to say Wilson to Wilson for a touchdown. That man is about to live his best life next year. It's going to be fantastic. Wilson to Wilson. Book it.
He probably will. On the other side of the spectrum here, Shaq, who do you think had the worst draft?
Chicago Bears, I think, had the worst.
Piggy. Said the Bears. Okay.
Why do you think the Bears had the worst draft?
For a team that's always lived to be a middle of the pack team, I think they didn't make any sort of picks that's going to benefit their team, neither short term nor long term. And I see this team only getting worse from this time onward. So I just generally don't see much happening for the Bears, and they didn't exactly pick anything to really improve upon themselves.
I don't have any comment on them because honestly, I have no idea what they did.
Exactly the point. I went through, was looking through people's picks, and I was like, it's just like a lot of the just random ass things that they're picking. And it's just like their team. A lot of these players are gonna like either never see playing time or just the Bears.
Malin?
I'm going with the Denver Broncos. Worst
Malin.
draft. I know why. It bothers me so goddamn bad when a team trades away their first round pick and then they put on Twitter, with our number 9 pick, we picked this person we traded for. You didn't pick him. In fact, if you pick a 30-something-year-old quarterback with your number 9 pick, that's a bad pick. All right? So, it annoys me when teams do that. I think it's quirky. I think it's stupid. There's other adjectives and verbs I can use. Definitely some action words on what they could do with that pick. But no, I mean they didn't. They didn't even pick until the 64th pick of the draft. How are you gonna have a good pick
God damn.
when you don't even pick until 64? Okay. First draft. Now, do they have Russell Wilson at quarterback? Yes, but is he drafted? No. So I don't think you can have a good draft when I think you have like 7 picks and they're all after the second round. So yeah, you Denver.
My answer it ties into my next answer, so I'll just kind of combine this all at once. But to me, it's unequivocally my own team. We had such a god awful draft. Just segueing right into the next segment. I gave us a D. That's my grade for my own team. We once again went with a bunch of players that probably have never really heard of. Which let me just preface all this by saying this is no offense to the players that come out of all these different schools. I wish them nothing but the best. I'm sure that they're great players, but with what we could have gotten, this is just the classic Bill Belichick thinking that he's not looking at talent or playmakers. He's just looking at personalities, character, work ethic, what's going to fit the machine that we already have and continue to make this machine run. They tried to fool us last year thinking that they're changing things up. We spent a bunch of money for agency. We drafted a bit more efficiently than we normally would have. And then, it's still really the same old. Here we go, getting a bunch of players that, it doesn't seem like are going to be the most talented playmakers once they develop in the NFL. I don't know. We just flat out ignore a lot of talent.
Who did you guys draft number 1 again?
The
kid
tackle.
out of Chattanooga.
Right.
Tackle. Did you see the video of Sean McVay?
Yes. Yep.
And
Cracking
the
up.
GM laughing
Cracking up
over that pick. I was like, first of all, you don't even have a first round pick, so why are you holding a press conference during the first round? Like, that's another thing that irked me. Like,
Yeah,
we get it. You won the Super Bowl. Why are you in front of cameras when you don't even have a pick?
Are they required to do that, or something tells me probably not?
I don't think so. No, I don't think they are. I think McVay just likes seeing himself on television.
Probably.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is my whole thing about this, how we operate in the NFL and how we draft is kind of like indicative of how we play. We obviously don't pay much attention to getting a bunch of marquee talent. It's just we need our system to run at 100% efficiency. Like, we play a mistake-free football. We need our opponent to beat themselves, essentially. So if we make any mistakes, we're falling behind, and we don't have the playmakers or the talent to cover a deficit that we may fall into. Like other teams who have stars and can just go down the field real quick and score a touchdown, we have to go on these 70, 80, 90-yard drives to score anything. And, like, it's just not going to – you can't keep doing that. Like, you're going to make mistakes. You're not going to score on all these long-ass drives. But Bill Belichick still thinks that that's how you do it. The system always works. The system is proven, which it was, but it's 2022 now, and what is shown to be successful now is high-powered offenses that can go score fast. And we don't have – still, I can't think of many playmakers on our team at all. So the draft was just kind of, like I said, indicative of our team. But long-winded way of saying that. G Money here says Tampa had the worst draft. When you know you're not going to have Brady after next year, why not draft a quarterback? Plus, they took a punter in the 4th round. I did not know that.
I love it.
Shout out to G Money. Shaq, who do you think had the worst draft? Or
Well,
sorry, who was your
Hey,
what
you
was
already
your
said
grade for your team?
C plus for my team.
Piggy.
Yes, that's one reason I give him C plus. Is like I don't know if they're just trying to. It's just kind of like reaching now. It's like maybe we might get a fluke with one of these three quarterbacks that we have on the roster. One of them will magically work out. I don't freaking know. They did choose another receiver, so it's like maybe right now they're just trying to find weapons, give opportunities. Hopefully, some sort of chemistry works out, and we have some sort of weird good season off of it. So I can see the direction they're trying to head to. Work on offense, trying to make up for the fact that we've lost weapons here and there on offense between losing Juju. Big Ben is retired. Now they're trying to find a way to like maybe something will work out. So I can't hate on them. Would I have chosen a quarterback? No, I would have stuck with the two that we have this season and reached out for other weapons. Give it pick a lineman. Big Ben was definitely moving last season over there taking hits and absorbing hits. Choose a lineman. I'm okay with the receiver move, but like that's just me. So I give them C plus. Definitely could have done a different direction.
I want to come back to that, but Malin, you go ahead.
Okay. Well, can I comment on what Shaq just said first before I talk about my own team?
Yeah, we can unpack
So
that first.
because
Go ahead.
okay, because I do think this is interesting though, Shaq, and you bring it to a point because I'm making fun of little Piggy Pickett, because he does have small hands. He got 8-inch hands, and it's almost like Pittsburgh plays outdoors in the cold the majority of the time. I don't know if they forgot that, but they do. But what I think is weird is that you picked up Mitch Trubisky, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the Steelers don't really know what they have in Mitch Trubisky. And he's probably going to be the starter going into week 1. So the Steelers are setting themselves up in a position that what if Mitch Trubisky like balls out next year? Are you setting yourself up with another Jordan Love situation where you wasted a first round draft pick on somebody that might not ever see the field because all of a sudden Mitch Trubisky's great and they wanted to lock him up on another contract? It's just I found it really kind of weird that the Steelers locked in on another quarterback in this year's draft versus trying to get one next year after seeing what they had in Mitch. Like, what do you think about that dynamic between Mitch and Pickett going into the training camp and all that?
For me, I think it's a great problem to have if that ends up happening. I would give Pittsburgh a grade up from what Shaq said. I'd give him a B plus. Just because I feel like Mitch will probably end up starting week 1, probably for the first couple weeks. But I think, Pickett was a good, he played at Pitt, he played in that, more or less, that same exact stadium. So I would imagine he's used to the environment and the elements there. But give him some time to learn the system and come up. But if Mitch ends up balling out, I mean, I feel like that's a good problem to have. It's like if you accidentally run into a ton of money and it's like, what the hell do I do with this?
My only thing is why not build upon the Trubisky in hopes that he does do well. Like, let's say this Trubisky, he does ball out. He's you have to start your second or for a week or two. Are you not going to choose Rudolph, somebody who already has experience and already knows the offense and play? Or are you trying to transition this rookie quarterback and taking the risk on hope he does well? Because my thing, I still think they start Trubisky, of course, and then they still will end up putting Rudolph in there first before they even try putting this rookie quarterback.
Really?
I think so, because this is now a player who kind of already knows. As much as we've seen Rudolph do bad, it's still in the aspect of the comfort zone of.
You're saying if Trubisky comes out and tanks, then they're like, all right, Mason, you come out, not Pickett.
I don't know.
I could see that.
Yeah, I could see
that.
Because
I don't think there was a single quarterback that was necessarily going to be week 1 ready.
Right
now,
right.
I want you to close your eyes and think of this situation, Jalen. Let's say the Steelers are your favorite team. Let's say Mitch is terrible, right?
Right.
Okay. We all know Rudolph's going to be terrible. So at some point, Cody Pickett's going to see the field next year. if Trubisky's terrible.
Right.
Okay? What if he doesn't play well? What if Pittsburgh ends up with a top 10 pick next year? With a 6 quarterback deep draft with a top 10 pick, you're looking at Trubisky failing, Rudolph being Rudolph, Cody Pickett not playing well. Now you're saddled with a top 10 pick in the NFL draft. Are you going to pick up another quarterback? You see that type of situation? That is a very real type of situation that could happen. I mean, look at Tomlin, man. He's bald. The man shaved his head. Losing Big Ben did something to him. That man lost all his hair. He's bald now.
Yes, it's like
He got no hair.
Shit, I
Is
would
it-
too.
even though at one point of the draft, most of the offensive linemen would have been gone by that point, or like those high caliber first rounds, I would have much rather taken one, build upon one, do that. So whatever quarterback we do, at least we can start building upon a line to protect them. So even if they're like bad, at least we're trying to buy time for these quarterbacks so these have time to think and throw the ball and everything. But now we're just building upon, let's say that our offensive line is like god awful. It's like even if they are good quarterback, we've had the O line is not there. So even if they are good, it's got stress.
I just think one of two scenarios happen for Pittsburgh next year. Is that either Mitch Trubisky is actually really good and they have another winning record. Then they have the conundrum of, do we move on Trubisky or sign him, or do we let Pickett play? Or team is bad, you got a top 10 pick. Now you got a rookie quarterback that probably didn't perform well because he was thrown into the fire because the team wasn't doing good. And you're looking at all these quarterbacks from a much better NFL draft. Like, they're already saying, they said during this time that Baker Mayfield, if Baker Mayfield went into this draft, he would be the number one quarterback taken.
Yeah.
That's how not highly talented that quarterback class was. Like,
Right.
Cody Pickett would probably be now, like you're looking at it now, would probably be like the number 7 rated quarterback in next year's draft.
Why do you call him Cody Pickett? Isn't it Kenny?
I don't know. Kenny Pickett, Cody Pickett, I don't give a shit. There was a quarterback for the University of Washington. His name was Cody Pickett.
Oh, I see.
Back in the late 2000s.
Got you.
And he was actually pretty good. But that's why I call him, Little Piggy Pickett, because he's got small hands, though. All right, so
Seattle.
enough about Steelers. Let's talk about Seattle. I'm actually giving them a B. I think they were pretty solid. I'm glad that they did not draft a quarterback in this draft because I didn't think any of them would be good enough to start this year. Seattle needed to have this draft be a foundation.
Yeah.
Now, the interesting thing is, Jalen, is that everything you were saying about the Patriots is exactly the same way that I normally feel about Seattle over the last decade in the way that they draft. Like, Carroll and Belichick are definitely the two oldest coaches in the NFL, and they act like it. Like,
Right.
they're still acting like it's 2010.
Yep.
Okay? But what Seattle did do, okay, they drafted the number 1 rated tackle from PFF, Cross. Okay, he's your starting left tackle right away. So bam, you already got one starter. Boy Hefe, linebacker in Minnesota. He's probably going to start because Seattle switched into a 3-4. Probably going to be a day 1 starter for Seattle. I'm really excited about the Walker pick in the second round, the running back out of Michigan State.
Yeah.
1,600 yards. Great runner. He was highly regarded as a number 1 rated running back in the draft. And a lot of the national pundits are saying that Seattle messed up by drafting a running back in the second round. They should have drafted a quarterback or somebody else. Well, they obviously don't understand that, yes, Penny had a great 6 games. There's a reason why he's a first-round bust from 2018 is because he can't stay healthy. So there's no guarantee he's going to be healthy next year. Chris Carson had neck surgery. There's no guarantee that he's actually ever going to play again on a field. So Seattle needs a running back. And then they drafted Abraham Lucas, who was an offensive tackle out of Washington State University that a lot of people think could slide in and be our starting right tackle. And then, we drafted a couple quarterbacks. Kobe Bryant, I think it's funny. Everyone's going to be comparing him to Kobe Bryant his entire life. And then Tariq Wooden. And then, they did get a linebacker, Smith. out of Ohio State. See what he does. But what I really think Seattle did is they set themselves up to solidify positions of need, and they're gonna roll with Drew Lock and Geno Smith. And I really hope that Drew Lock gets playing time this year because just like Mitchell Trubisky with the Steelers, right? I want to see what he has. Can he be better under a better coaching staff? Or is he really is what he always was in Denver? And if he's not, then Seattle's going to have a great draft pick next year. They're going to have 2 first-round picks, and they'll be able to pick up a quarterback next year. But they did a really good job solidifying needs on the offensive line, linebacker, defensive end, running back, which is a great need. And so I thought they did really well. I was really happy with a lot of their picks because they went outside the norm. They didn't trade a lot of their picks. They only made one trade, and that was going back, I think, like 10 picks or something like that. But they stuck to their guns with the picks they had, and they picked the best available players at each pick. They weren't reaching for people, which is what they normally do. That's normally how draft people like Rashad Penny in the first round, or Malik McDowell that gets in an ATV accident and never actually plays a down for you, or LJ Collar, who's terrible, or you probably don't know the name Bruce Irvin. There's a reason for that. Nobody does, but he was actually drafted number 1 in the first round in 2012, the year that Russell Wilson was drafted and Bobby Wagner was drafted. So interesting. So I'm happy with what they did.
Nice. I'm glad. That seems like both of you guys are relatively happy with your team's drafts.
Either you're not.
Yep. Sure not.
Yep.
Now, moving on into the NBA, we are going to give our thoughts on the second round of the playoffs. So far, it seems like a lot has happened because last week we did the draft, so a week prior we were still talking about pretty early round 1 stuff. But now here we are in the second round of the playoffs. Mainly game 3 is coming up here. However, before we get into our general thoughts on the conference semifinals, I do want us to give our predictions for the game that's about to start. This is kind of like a little ride or die in 25 early in the show, but the Mavs and the Suns are about to square off in game 2 in a few minutes here. So I figured we just give our prediction now before that actually starts. So I'll go first here. I think the Mavs will come out strong here. Luka will get some goddamn help, and the Mavs will end up winning this one by between 5 to 10 points ish, and tie the series up to go back to Dallas. And only because I think this will be a sort of a compelling series, like a 5 or 6 game series, and I don't see, like, in order to do that, it'd be really hard to accomplish that if you go down 0-2. So, yeah, I think the Mavs will steal one game on the road, which may be their one and only win. But, yeah, give me the Mavs in this one. Shaq.
I still choose the Suns to come out and win this game. They're really trying to keep ahead of the series. They don't want to drop a game this early in the series and still leave it competitive and compelling. I say they win this game, maybe drop game 3 or 4, game 3 probably at home for some odd thing. But for right now, I say they win this game. It's all about winning those away games. Sometimes it really proves a point.
That's how it goes. Malin.
I'm going Phoenix on this one. For one big reason. You look at the stat sheet when they lost 121 to 114 Dallas, right? Luka had 45 points.
Yep.
Next person closest to him was Kleber, 19 points. In fact, Ayton was Phoenix's best player on the floor that night, scoring 25. Then you had Booker coming back with 23 and Paul at 19. So your best player didn't even lead your team in points scored in that game. I think he's going to be even better than what he was in the first game. Booker, I mean. I still think that Luka can go off and get like 35, 40 points, but I'm not 100% sure that he's going to get the help that he needs to be able to pull off a road win. Now, I will say that this game has the potential to go 5 or 6 games, but Dallas is going to have to put in some work to kind of, hold serve at home because they're probably going to drop this one.
Yeah, I sure hope so. I don't want to see Luka get swept. Like, that would be really unfortunate. But anyway, into the rest of the series that are going on right now. So, primarily, like after this game is done, we'll be into all game 3s at this point. Miami just took care of Philly for the second game in a row.
Big shocker.
Right. Golden State and Memphis are tied. Boston and Milwaukee are tied. So, with all the series in their current state, which team or player do you guys think looks the best right now? Shaq, I'll start with you. Who are you just very impressed with right now?
I'm very interested in seeing Tatum right now.
Really?
Yeah. I think for that meantime, he was really doing well, playing very entertaining. I'm very interested on the whole Celtics and Celtics series on a whole. I feel that will be the most entertaining series to go on out of these the second round right here, because I feel like, do you guys dethrone these guys and knock them out? Especially since you guys won round 2 here, game 2 right now, to tie it up. I'm hoping that you guys do keep the momentum and make it so much interesting. Because right now, my series at this current stage keeps it up. I say we drop one game in this series right now, by the way that this momentum isn't going. Like, if Embiid comes back, we drop like one of those games because, of course, he comes back, changes things up. We get adjusted, and then we claim it 4-1 and then move on from there. But y'all and Tatum, interesting.
Okay, I like Shaq's answer. Malin?
Thanks. As far as the best team in the playoffs right now, it's definitely a homer pick, but I got to go with Boston. So far, when you talk about round 1 in the beginning of round 2 right now, talking about a team that swept the preseason number 1, actually win the finals. Okay? Not only that, how many national pundits going on air? No one wants to play Brooklyn in the playoffs. Oh, they can still make it happen. Durant and Irving can play at home now, and even at the end of the year, they were like, "Oh, they could still. They're still probably the favorites out of the East, with the number 7 seed." Which, idiotic to think they swept them. And they played better ball every single game. Like, they didn't blow them out any game, but they did what they needed to do. In all 4 wins, you always kind of had the feeling in the third and the fourth quarter that even though Brooklyn would get close, they were never really in it to win any of those games. Like, you just never felt like Boston was going to lose one of those. And then you go to the defending champs in Milwaukee. They didn't play a good game in the first game. And then they come out in the second game, and without Smart, they dominated and whooped them. Brown was fantastic in game 2, and like Shaq, Tatum scoring 28 points last night. I think that he's coming into his own, and this is an opportunity in the playoffs to really kind of make himself superstar in the league. If he can kind of keep this play up, because against Brooklyn, when everyone regarded as Durant and Irving being the best 2 players on the floor and Tatum number 3, Tatum was the best player on the floor in all 4 games, and he's been the best player on the floor or 5 out of 6 games in the playoffs. And they have the toughest road to make it to the finals. Unlike Miami, who I think, what did they play? New York Liberty from the WNBA in the first round. And now they're playing Philly that doesn't even have Embiid. And they have something. There's somebody named James Harden playing for Philly, but it's not MVP Harden. It's more like Pillsbury Harden. I don't know
It
what's
is
going on with
okay. The
Harden.
disrespect. What do you say if we come next
so-
round, we play y'all, and we beat y'all? Where does that come into play?
First of all, Shaq, it's not gonna happen. He ain't played nobody. He ain't played nobody tough. He ain't faced his defense.
Yo,
He ain't played this defense. It's not gonna happen. Book it,
that's
Nano.
level of disrespect that my team gets for no reason.
Let's pay some respect. The Heat did not play the New York Liberty in the first round. They played the Atlanta Dream in the first round. let's
Okay,
get
the
it.
Atlanta Dream. I forgot. And like what? Like did Trey Young play like his worst 5 games ever? That's
As
the
a-
first.
As an
That
NBA
is
player,
that was the worst 5-game stretch of Trey Young's career. He played against Miami.
Can we
You
not
can't
say
get much
that
worse
y'all
than that.
beat the Brooklyn Nets that y'all roasted the whole entire season for being the most disorganized behind the Lakers as a team?
Oh, hey,
roast
listen. I
Yes.
roast them all day long.
Exactly,
but,
but yet y'all
hey.
give them credit for beating them, but
Hey.
yet we
Durant, and Irving, right? Durant and Irving,
the man thinks the world is
the best
flat.
players in the NBA.
KD doesn't know what a brush
Hey.
looks like. Can we?
Hey, listen,
you
for a
guys
man
beat
that
him.
thinks the Earth is
You-
flat, hey, the man might believe that the Earth is flat, but you know what he can do? He can take a round basketball and put it through the hoop. Okay, so that can't happen with Irving. So, but yes, did I think that Brooklyn was going to the finals? No. Did most everybody else that studies the NBA think they were going to the NBA finals? Yes. And did Boston smash them? Yes. Who do you think is more difficult to play, Shaq? Atlanta or Brooklyn?
Brooklyn.
It's a
But
tougher team.
it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, you
Exactly.
win is a win. We still the same round of playoffs.
I'll give you guys your props. I mean, you don't choose who you play. It is what it is. It's how it
We
goes.
just hooping. Whoever they put against, we just hooping. Don't hate us for that.
I'm
I'm,
not hating you for it. I'm just saying they're not going to beat us.
Falling in line with the rest of you guys. I'm very impressed with our Celtics right now. As far as complete teams, I don't see any other teams that are as complete as we are. Just 1 through 5, everybody guards so well. Like we just lock up every single position. I want a huge shout out to Grant Williams. This entire series, he's just played super well, especially on the defensive side of the ball, and usually hitting his open shots. Al Horford has turned back the clock apparently. JB did his thing last game, and he just could not miss in that first half, and that was just so good to see. And then obviously, Tatum doing his whole thing throughout the sweep, throughout game 2. And I gotta say, I'm tired of FS1 and ESPN always calling Tatum the soon-to-be superstar or the, on the verge of a superstar. The next, it's like, can we just say the dude's a superstar now? Like, I feel like he's earned it at this point in his career. Like, let's not forget the babyface Tatum that took LeBron James and the Cavs to a Game 7 in the Eastern Conference Finals.
Yep.
4 years ago at this point. Like, this is not exactly completely new territory to him and a lot of the rest of this team. Like Tatum, I feel like has been doing this. Obviously, like he's keeps refining his game, just keeps getting better and better. But I do feel like it's kind of disrespectful to say he's still on the outside looking in. I mean, the dude just swept Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. Come on now, like what else do you want him to do? If they can take down the reigning champs with the best player on the planet, at that point, there should be no other argument on if he's a superstar or not. But that's my
Now, I will say this. Don't just want this segment to be like a love affair, Boston, even though I love Boston. I do feel like we do got to give a little bit of kudos to the West right now. And if you're asking me who the number 2, like, most complete, like, best team is, probably going to go Golden State right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Coming back after missing the playoffs for the last 2 years, people are healthy. Curry, Thompson, Poole playing great. I know we'll talk about Peyton II a little bit in the show. That's kind of sad. Draymond Green doing Draymond Green things. I know that's not in the notes, but we gotta talk about that for a second. Like, do you guys think he should have been ejected in that game? Do you think that warranted a flagrant 2? Because I really don't. I think that if he was really trying to maliciously hurt somebody, wouldn't have continued to try to hold him up. He just would have let go and let the man just like slam on the floor. But I love his Antonio Brown impersonation. The way he ran off the court, I thought that was fantastic. But I think that, listen, man, Green is the heart and soul of that team. He's the one that makes them tick. And I know that Memphis is going to give them a run for their money
I think he got.
in this series. Hey, Shaq.
I was thinking he got the flagrant because of who he is,
Yep.
and he has a bad track record already. So it's kind of like, all right, it's like you being like a badass kid in class, always get in trouble. The littlest things get you thrown out regardless.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
bad track record. Unfortunately, the refs are looking at you heavy and just waiting for you to act out.
Yeah, I agree with that. I don't like if it was just a random person who doesn't have a history of that type of behavior. Probably not a flagrant 2, probably flagrant 1. Because you can see like he did it and then immediately was like, oh shit, like I didn't really mean to do that. But because it's Draymond, they were like, get up out of here, like. You have to go. But as soon as he started waving like to the crowd and skipping through the court, immediately watching that live, I was like, Antonio Brown. I'm just waiting for the memes to start. That is a direct clone of AB.
The thing with that being a flagrant 2 is that the officials, when they looked at the replay, they saw that he barely grazed his head.
Yeah, he didn't like full on clock him in the head.
And so, to me, though, like the definition of a rule for a flagrant 2 is the word excessive.
Right.
The jersey pull is going to give him a flagrant 1. They called a flagrant 2 because his arm or his hand grazed his head. To me, that's not excessive. So I thought that it was just, oh, well, this is Draymond Green, and so we're going to go ahead and tee him up. And now all he needs is 2 more flagrants, 2 more flagrant 1s. He's suspended for a game. Hell, this might be 2016 all over again. But yeah, I do think that Golden State though is playing some really good ball.
On a side note, the third most complete team.
Jesus. we gonna say Memphis or Phoenix?
All right.
Is that the third? That's the third.
The Atlanta Dream, baby.
Y'all mad disrespectful out here. I came out here, gave y'all the Celtics the biggest boost ever. Y'all can't even give me an acknowledgement.
Well, listen, man, we got it in the notes during the news. We're about to give you some love, man.
Okay.
We will give them some love.
All right.
Just be patient. Last but not least, who is going to the conference finals? Who will win this round and advance to that sweet, sweet conference championship? I'll go first real quick here. I do think that by hook or by crook, Boston Celtics come out, and the Miami Heat will also come out. Over in the West, give me Golden State and give me Phoenix. If I could pick one lock, I'd say Phoenix right now. I don't know. They just seem to completely outclass the Mavs. But, yeah, those are my 4 picks. Shaq.
It's hard to argue against that because I feel like pick for pick, it's the same exact right now.
Yeah.
I feel like there's always the only questionable one would be, of course, Milwaukee-Boston game.
Yeah.
But that's going to be the most competitive one that's going to probably go to like Game 7 if there is one that's going to go there. Everyone else seems to be a clear, definitive, like better team. So it's hard to argue that, but y'all would be the only questioning factor of Milwaukee or Boston. But for the most part, I completely agree with you.
I will say Golden State and Memphis, I feel like that has the potential to go 6 or 7.
Depends what Draymond really does with himself during that series. If he
I think that one's going 7 games.
Yeah,
I think that was going 7.
If Draymond can act right, if Golden State, I'm gonna pick them. But if that man gets himself suspended or even out for a game,
he better not.
Then that becomes a question.
Listen, Draymond was playing last game, and they got beat in game 2. I think Memphis has some dogs on there.
They do.
Behind Morant, it can definitely give Golden State a run for their money, even though I think Golden State's a better team. When you're in a 7-game series and, things can switch. Momentum is real in the NBA playoffs. And so I do think, coming out of the West, I do think it's going to be Golden State and Phoenix. I think that the East, I think it's going to be Miami and Boston. I think the two teams with the easiest ride to get to those finals is Miami and Phoenix.
Yep.
I think that Miami's probably going to sweep Philly. I think Phoenix will probably close theirs out in 5 games. And so I think those would be the easiest. But, I do think that Boston is going to win the series. I think it's probably going to take 6 games, but I think Boston's going to win it. And then Miami's going to be rested, and they're going to play like crap. They're going to bulldoze them. And Boston's going to go to the finals. I know you didn't ask for that. I'm overzealous. It's going to happen.
Overachieving.
Yeah, it's my pick. It's what I do. I overachieve.
So we all have the same conference finals panning out, correct?
Yeah, now we just need the NBA to make us look smart.
Damn
NBA.
sure it's like that happen.
Just do it for once, you bastards. All right. We are going to go to a break. And when we come back, we've got a little bit of interesting news this week. I really like our news this week. We got some stuff. But anyway, we will see you guys in 7.5 minutes. We'll be back.
Peace.
Peace.
Ain't no need to think it through. It's flowing all through your body, flowing all through your veins. Don't drive yourself insane. You already know you hit to the game. Now live up to your name. Live up to your name.
I feel it with the fears in my head. Can't get it out of my mind. I hear what never was said. I feel the unknown with the fears in my head. They attach, they latch. I got a brand new batch. They don't lack, that's facts. No slack. Pimp tight, attached from the inside. They'll fuck up any kind of night. They'll fuck up any kind of vibe. Playing tricks with your mind. I cannot get it over.
We lost him.
How could you lose him?
He's got a lot of firepower.
What, and you don't?
I will show. How about this? Here's my bet. I will show up to the bar with the Juju jersey. If we win, I will give it to you, and you have to wear the Juju jersey on the show next Wednesday if the Steelers win.
But Shaq cannot take the jersey off at any point during the game.
That's fair.
Fair
On
enough.
the whole game.
They bring 5. Smith goes sideline. It's caught by Nolan, who lost the football, and it's recovered by Sweet. Inbounds with the clock running and no timeouts. And they scramble to kill it. Down to 3 and 2. They line up with 1.
Yeah! Pretty freaking plain! I'm chucking this shit into Del Mabry. By the way. How can you not see that there is 1 second on the clock. This is emotional. Boy, you better spike the shit out of this, Gino. 1 second out of this shit. Oh, what? No. What do you mean, what's left? There was... No, he thought we were friends. Yeah, you better fold that shit up. We ain't done yet. Come on. Get off the bar.
I respect your attitude here.
We'll be quiet.
No, it's great. You're laughing and having a good time.
He's the one drinking beer. I'm drinking water.
Did you know AFR is also on Spotify and Apple Podcasts? Click the first link in the description below to listen to the most recent episode of the show.
8 fans fell out of the stands as Jalen Hurts is walking into the tunnel. I will just preface this by saying all those people were just fine, no serious injuries. They were all right, but goddamn, that was funny to watch.
Fortunately, knowing how the Eagles fans are built, the last thing you should do is lean their body weight against anything.
First of all, you got to be a real diehard Eagles fan to be reaching out that far to get a high five from Jalen Hurts. Like I said, is only averaging 188 yards passing a game. Okay, I'm just saying.
Live chat here, TW1. I swear, y'all come out of fucking potholes like cockroaches. Steady Eagles haters. We aren't going to win the Super Bowl, but we might win the wild card.
What does
maybe.
What does that matter? What does that matter?
TW1, 50% of teams have a shot at winning the wild card. Maybe.
I swear to God, these Eagles fans just really be riding whatever wave they can catch. They're going to catch a rip off a puddle that would rhyme it.
I love how we're not even talking about the Eagles right now.
Yes,
exactly. Fuck you even find this, bro.
He's like, we're talking about the other team in Pennsylvania, people.
First question. Who is currently leading the NFL in reception yards?
I'm going with Arizona.
I'm a player. Sorry, player.
With Larry. I'm going with Larry.
Larry who?
Fitzgerald.
Oh my
God.
No.
Currently.
He's not still in the Arizona Cardinals? Where's he at?
Cooper.
Just drink.
Oh, okay.
Which current quarterback that is actively playing has thrown the most interceptions so far this season?
Heineke.
No. Okay, no. It's Mahomes and Zach Wilson. Dang it.
Really?
Yes.
Drink. You deserve that L. Do it.
Your head coach, Ron Rivera, he won a Super Bowl in the 80s as a part of what team?
Fuck it, Michigan.
No.
Wait.
NFL.
NFL, my guy. NFL.
Oh. Oakland Raiders.
It was a good guess.
That's good. It was Washington, wasn't it?
It was the Bears, actually.
Oh, the Bears. Okay.
Which current running back, has the most yards at the first initial contact?
Jesus.
45 seconds. What was your
You were wiping your forehead. Don't worry about
What
it.
they got to do with me and my
Henry.
Does me wiping my forehead change time?
It does, because that's like a time zone.
Who was our quarterback at Washington or Redskins? He was the first black quarterback on the Washington football team.
Why are you asking me this? Oh my God. Jason Campbell.
No,
hell no. I want to say the first black
Get
quarterback.
out of here.
Nigga, he's black, isn't he?
He was the first black quarterback on the Washington football team. Or
Doug
Redskins.
Williams is just as black. Ryan knows he needs some water.
If Ryan makes you do the entirety of the show, give him a medal honor for it.
I mean, listen, hey, he thought that Fitzgerald was still playing, so.
Not just still playing, but had no.
At an all-pro level.
Remember to follow the show on Instagram and TikTok at AFR Sports. That's it, AFR Sports. Now back to the show with your hosts Jalen, Shaquille, and Malin.
Welcome back, folks. Welcome back to your favorite show on the internet, your favorite auto parts show, your favorite Star Wars show, your favorite music show, your favorite sports show.
We can give advice about anything: life, cars, death, apparently.
Yep.
And
weight loss.
That's the last thing I should listen to. I'll look at food too hard.
I would just like to say that right now, outside near my fire pit, it is hotter than a wiener dog dragging his balls on the asphalt right now. It is hot as hell outside. This is ridiculous.
And it is
So,
10:30 p.m.
I know. That's 10:30 in Florida for you folks.
It'll still be like 85 degrees outside, chilling on Florida there.
It's
The
different.
beginning of May. Ridiculous.
Yeah, we don't know where you're located, but here it's different for sure. So we're gonna get into the news for the week.
Hold on, we got another shot.
Today's top stories and breaking news.
He will take the shot.
Shot. Toast to this god awful day.
Cheers. You know, last week when we took 7, and they do start to go down different when you hit.
What's it like number
3, 4?
Yeah, I would say 3, 4. At that point, you just not like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's called alcoholism. That's
The show tends to do that to you.
Yeah, that's what happens.
If you keep it up at this
Jalen's like, the more I drink, the easier it is to drink
point,
more.
if you keep it up, we'll be on stage next draft.
We're gonna be like that guy that talked for 2.5 minutes picking for the Minnesota Vikings, and the person had to go on stage and tell him, "Hey, just make the damn pick."
Not the person I was referring
storytelling
to.
hour. Okay, well.
Shaq's referring to a younger, more vulnerable human being that was out there clapping.
Oh, the Make-A-Wish kid.
Yeah.
You want to check on him? He's still alive? It's been 6 days. I don't know. Let's go.
If I had one with...
Concerned.
All right. Anyway, the news for the week. Back to the news. This show is so bad.
You took one shot immediately.
So, speaking of people who should be suspended from life, DeAndre Hopkins suspended for 6 games, 6 whole games for violating the NFL's PED policy. In short, the man took something that he probably shouldn't, most definitely shouldn't have. And the NFL said you couldn't take that. He said, "Oh, what? I didn't even know. That's wild." And here we go. So now he's suspended for 6 games. So, 1, are you guys buying that he didn't know? And then 2, do you think the 6, well, it is what it is. I guess it's not. Do you think he didn't know that he shouldn't have taken that?
Yes, I think he knew he shouldn't be taking that. It was gonna be like, man, yeah, y'all caught me. It'd be like that. No, this man definitely knew, and he's just trying to play the innocent card, hoping he pulls out some of these heartstrings. They're like, yeah, let this man play. I was like, no, this man knew what's going on. How long has this man been in the league?
A minute.
Exactly.
He's been in the league for a minute.
Exactly. Like he doesn't know the rules by now. If you're getting paid millions of dollars a year, the least thing you can do is try and memorize the rules of what you can and can't do, especially the rules that you can't do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. You don't think I know all the rules of not to get me fired at my own job and they ain't paying me millions of dollars a year? Yes.
Malin.
Shaq makes a good point. My job, first line of defense is self-preservation.
Right.
Number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 things on my list are things that I'm not going to do, or I'm going to make sure it doesn't happen because I want to keep my job. Now, if this was somebody that wasn't an all-pro, had been in the league for a while, and one of the NFL's best, and wasn't making millions upon millions of dollars, let's say they were a third string or something like that, you can kind of see it, and I might buy it a little bit.
Yeah.
When you're someone like DeAndre Hopkins, how do you not have people that you pay to
Exactly.
monitor everything you put in your body. And I don't know about you guys. I'm getting sick and tired of hearing the "I have no idea how this happened" defense. Like, I understand that a lot of these people didn't graduate college. They're still smart people. Still smart, intelligent people. Like, to this day, at 40 years old, I know what I'm putting in my body. Anything I put in my body, anything I put in from a pre-workout so that I can work out, try not to be fat when I'm 40, I'm still reading the ingredients to see what I'm putting in my body.
Right.
Like, I honestly think, and this is just me, you guys agree or disagree, the NFL suspends somebody for performance-enhancing drugs, and that person comes out and does the whole, oh, gee, shucks, golly, wonkers, like, I had no idea, I don't know how this happened. I think that should be an automatic 4-game suspension on top of what they already suspended. Like Goodell's sitting in his office and he's looking at a TV and he sees what DeAndre Hopkins puts out on Twitter. I'd be like, damn, another 4-game ban. You want to play this game some more? Do we want to keep doing this? You want another 2-game ban after that? Like, no, just you had it in your system, apologize and move on. Like, I just think it's asinine. Like,
which I can
stupid.
Which I can agree. It's like treating them like children. Like, you call your child out in a lie and be like, man, I didn't really do it. I didn't even know. I can't even do that. I'm grounding you for another 2 weeks. Don't give a damn. Now you're just trying to hustle me out of making me feel bad. So I'm going to go ahead and keep on.
Because at that point, you're disrespecting the NFL and the Shield by saying, I shouldn't have been suspended.
Yeah.
Shouldn't have been having. I've been like, no, another 4 games. Want to keep trying me? Let's do it. Let's put you on the non-exempt list. Want the Josh Gordon treatment?
Yeah.
Shut up.
Put you in limbo.
Now that your team is already struggling enough.
I agree. It is like his response was definitely like the common what NFL players say now. Like, I can think back to a few years ago, Julian Edelman said the same thing. Like, oh, what? That's crazy. I didn't even know that was the thing.
I didn't know I couldn't beat my wife in the elevator.
You know what I would do? You know what I would do? Like, if I had someone like DeAndre Hopkins and they played the whole I had no idea or I didn't know this. Let's go ahead and talk about contract negotiations next time. Like, no, we're not paying you $28 million a year because you're fucking stupid because you don't even keep track of what goes in your body. Like, God damn. You put illegal substances in your body last year and you still couldn't stay healthy? Like, what?
Can we reflect on G Money's comment? I feel like that relates to my job on a whole. Come from G Money. He's saying, I have no idea how that cucumber got there. I'm really careful of what I put in my body. What everyone says in EMS. Yes. Every person that comes with something stuck in their body always acts like a surprise or they accidentally fell on it. You know what? I just fell on a toothbrush. I was like, stop it.
Somebody come in with an empty Coke bottle. Be like, shut up.
That's not that wouldn't be the first time the empty Coke bottle has gotten somebody to be pulled out.
First of all, learn science.
Yes.
There's a suction that happens there.
Thank you. You as a common person.
No, I totally agree.
Yes, it's
totally
like,
agree.
Put hustle in me,
Ridiculous.
you put it there, it's whatever.
Please stop that. I've heard the arguments of, oh, that supplement can be found at any GNC. Yeah, but so can anything. Gasoline can be found anywhere. Should you be bringing it to work? Probably not.
Okay, but here's the thing. If it's found in GNC, again, someone like me should be taking products from GNC.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to play professional football. Like, you should have supplements that you have available to you that do not break rules in the NFL, and you should know what they are. And if you're not smart enough to know that, then pay somebody that's smart enough to know that so that you don't get suspended.
Right. You shouldn't. Honestly, you have enough money that you shouldn't even have to think about it.
Exactly.
You should be able to just go to the facility. Somebody's like, here's this meal prep that we ready for you. Drink it and eat it.
Yeah.
Good.
I guarantee you he has some sort of nutrition team that keeps up with the stuff that he probably bypassed and just did this on his own. And on another note, like you guys were mentioning earlier, we all work jobs. And I guarantee you, the three of us would never do something that we I can't see the three of us getting fired for some stupid shit. Like I just can't see it because we're working class people. Well, as far as violating something like bringing something to work that you shouldn't have there, to me this is like a perfect example of you just make too much money to the point where if you get suspended for 6 weeks, what does it matter? If we get suspended for 6 weeks, that's a big deal.
Yes.
But for him,
we don't
it's
get
like,
suspended for 6 weeks. We get fired.
Right, you
Like,
just lose your job.
That's
You're
like
not-
me going
Let's
to
be
work.
real.
and
We don't get a. That's snorting.
I was like, yeah,
First
that's like
of all,
I don't show up to work and I don't snort a line of coke off my desk and be like, I didn't know I couldn't do that.
Yeah, right.
And they get all surprised when they fire me.
If Shaq is at work snorting something off a desk, people need oxygen masks because that is gonna suck all the fucking air off of whatever wing he's on. So, just first and foremost, that'd be a red flag. They'd be like, "Why did oxygen masks drop out of the ceiling like an airplane?" Shaq, what the fuck are you doing? That'd be number one. But no, yeah, you're right though. Like these people, they know better. DeAndre Hopkins knows better. But the funny thing is that he's not going to be the last. Like I don't like. Why do these professional athletes think that we're so stupid and the NFL is so stupid that we buy it and that we believe it?
Like,
but yet
come
they
on,
still
man.
do it all the time. A broken record.
You thought you were pulling a fast one. You're one of the best receivers in the NFL. Do you really think we're gonna believe you don't have the resources to know better? Come on. Anyway, moving on to the next one. Staying in the NFL, Honey Badger signs with New Orleans for 3 years, $33 million. The Saints picking up the star safety of the Chiefs. He was shopping around trying to find what he could, and I thought that he was going to leave eventually, and he sure did. Ends up with the Saints. What do you guys think about Tyrann Mathieu ending up with New Orleans? Going back to his roots, LSU bound. So, what do you guys think about Honey Badger ending up with the Saints?
I'm just gonna say that they need all the help they can in general. The Saints. I mean, I would say they probably needed more on offense, but like, sure, we'll take it either direction we can with the help. So, congrats to the Saints for bringing on another key player.
Mainland.
I do think that one, he was always rumored to go to the Saints. It was not a surprise that he was going to go to the Saints. I do think it's a little bit disrespectful that someone like Matthew had to wait till after the draft.
Yeah.
I think he should have been on a team to begin with. Okay. But I will say this: it is good to be in the NFL in 2022 because I remember back in the heyday with the Legion of Boom with the Seahawks, they were setting records by paying people like Earl Thomas $12 million a year. That was like the highest paid safety in the NFL. And here we are now, a man after the draft getting 3 years, $30 million, $10 million a year. Like, that's insane to me.
Yeah.
And after the draft, people are still getting that type of contract. Now, is it deserved? Yes, because I still think if he can stay healthy, he's had some injury problems, but if he can stay healthy, he's still one of the better safeties in the league. But beyond that, there is one other safety, Jalen, that is said has come out and said that they're ready to return to the NFL. Do you know who that is?
No.
Earl Thomas.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Come out and said he is ready to come back to the NFL. He wants another crack at it. He's apparently he's done fighting with his teammates and cussing them out, calling them stupid, and being caught in bed with a hooker and his brother in the same bed in Dallas. So he's ready to come back to the NFL. So, you guys think of Earl Thomas coming back to the NFL? He's gonna find a team.
Hey, we're here for a good time, not a long time. So,
like most of these guys' careers.
I did not know that Earl Thomas was back on the market. That's interesting. As far as Honey Badger goes, G Money says the Saints needed help on defense and picking him up, picking up one of the best safeties definitely helps them. Yeah, I agree. I do feel like this was a bit of a loss. I feel like he was a cornerstone of the Chiefs defense. So when he was on the market, that was like wow. It's just like you said, surprising that it took him to this point to get picked up. I thought he was going to get scooped up quick, fast, and in a hurry. But we had to wait till after the draft the Saints to sign him, and still get him for really good money is like, damn, it's the most 2022 thing that you'd hear of in the NFL. Like just super, super weird, but good fit
and
good fit.
The other thing you have to think about with the Chiefs, right, is, and I've always felt that the Chiefs are following the same type of timeline that my Seattle Seahawks did, where you have all this talent, you win a Super Bowl, you lose another one, and everyone thinks you're going to have an opportunity to get back. Okay,
Yep.
just like the Aaron Rodgers, right? Like everyone always thought Aaron Rodgers was going to get back. You start losing people like a Matthew on your defense, which was one of the leaders, like the heart and the souls, the vocal leaders on the team. Who fills that void? You start losing players like that, you better be able to replace them. Otherwise, in 5 years, you're gonna have Mahomes still going to the playoffs, not making it to a Super Bowl. So the Chiefs better start drafting better than my Seahawks did, because once you start losing these great players, you can't just rely on one quarterback to get you back to the Super Bowl. Like he needs the same type of talent that helped them win a Super Bowl. They need that type of talent all around the roster. Now they've lost people like Hill. They've lost people like Matthew. Everyone else is getting older. So it's going to be interesting to see what the Chiefs do, especially in the loaded division.
Yeah, jeez. Next on the NFL news here, we have an international piece of news here, folks. So, usually the NFL will have a few games in London throughout the course of the season, but now they're expanding to Germany. Deutschland's getting the Bucks and the Seahawks on November 3rd at 9:30 a.m. Eastern time. They'll be playing at the same stadium that Bayern Munich plays at. This is part of the NFL's kind of initiative to get more games in Germany. They're going to have games in Munich and Frankfurt throughout the next few years here. So they're starting off with the stadium that Bayern plays in. But Bucks and Seahawks, Malin, you and Amy plan on going out to Munich for this game in November?
I like how your voice got a little bit higher as you kept talking to him. Cute. So the NFL offices are in New York, right? NFL offices are in New York.
Yeah.
How many people you think work in the NFL offices? 1,000 people? 1,500 people?
Probably
a lot. Yeah.
Okay. That's fine. I'm 40 years old. I got a big enough ass. All of them can collectively kiss my ass at the same time.
What's wrong with Frankfurt? That's only 15,000 miles away.
Yeah, and you know what? Raymond James Stadium is 20 miles away from where I live now. So I only get the Seahawks down here like once every 6 years.
For those of you season pass holders who are
why did they pick this game of all games?
I have no idea. I could understand if Russell Wilson was still on the roster, why you choose Seattle and Tampa with Tom Brady and all that stuff.
Right,
But Seattle is going to be somewhat of a hot mess. You have no idea what the Seattle team is going to be. They could be 2-15. They could be 500. They could have a winning. I mean, I have no idea what they're going to do. They're an enigma. So while you're picking this team, and you're going to make me watch this game at 9:30 in the morning with my wife. There's day drinking and then there's morning drinking. And you're forcing me to become an alcoholic with the morning drinking at 9:30 in the morning.
Forcing you or just having you pick up the habit again?
No, it's kind of a forcing because I can't sit on the couch with my wife who's a Buck fan because I can't be the same exuberant self I am when I'm watching my own team play against another team because happy wife, happy life. I'm going to have to reserve myself So the only way I'm going to be able to reserve
love to see
myself is
that.
instead of talking shit, I'm going to have a bottle to my mouth. For probably the duration of the game. But it just kind of makes me mad because I've known for months that Seattle was supposed to come down here.
Uh-huh.
I was booking it like we were going to go to this game, and my brother was going to go to this game, and he was going to bring his kids. Like today, his 9-year-old daughter was like crying in the back seat because she can't go to a Seahawks game again because the last time she went was 2016. I'm like, so everybody pucker up at the whatever the NFL office is in New York and kiss my ass. Suck. I wanted to go see that game. I think that the Bucks are a bunch of pussies because they don't want my Seahawks to beat them in front of a home crowd, so they want to get beat in front of a bunch of people that don't even know who the fuck the Bucks are. So there you go.
G-Money, you saying the game is November 13th. I may have just gotten the date wrong. At this point, I'm not sure how much. I mean, it's at 9:30 in the morning, and it's in Munich. So I mean, I'm sure the people, the people of Munich are used to watching Bayern blow teams out anyway. So,
okay. Yeah, but here's another thing. How unfair is this for the Seahawks? I have to say this. It's 9:30 in the morning Eastern time.
Yeah.
The people
Jesus
for
Christ.
Seattle, they're playing a game 6:30 in the morning Seattle time.
Right. And then you advance that by 6 hours.
I can barely make coffee at Starbucks at 6:30 in the morning. You want these people to get up there and put pads on and play an NFL game at 6:30 in the morning their time? That's ridiculous.
That's
ridiculous.
That's absolutely crazy, but unfortunate that out of all games, this is one the NFL was like, we have a big Seahawk and a big Buccaneer fan base in Munich, Germany.
Yeah, they couldn't pick like Tampa and Carolina. They couldn't make it the divisional game or whatever.
Right,
they're doing that with the card.
game.
Yeah, they're doing that with the Cardinals and the 49ers. They're playing a divisional game overseas.
Yep.
In London. So I don't know. The whole overseas thing I don't really get. In the sense that someone's the home team, right?
Right.
And season ticket holders for the Bucks, their season tickets don't go down. They don't pay less money, but they get one less home game.
Right.
Like I don't think that's fair to the fans of the home teams that have to play a game over there. But Glazers, the Jaguars, those are two teams that are always going to be going over there because their owners also own football squads or soccer teams.
Yeah.
In Europe. So they have that tie. The ownership has that tie, but I think it's unfair.
But that's the thing.
I just think it's unfair to the home team.
To me, it really didn't make sense because, like you said, the Glazers, they own, I think it's either Man City or Man U, but that would be in London. Why the fuck are you going to the Bundesliga in Germany? Like, wouldn't they come to the stadium where Man U or Man City
Yeah, plays? I see that, but going into Europe and Germany for the first time, the Bucks and the Jaguars were always going to be going over there. It is going to be making history, and I don't know, maybe the Glazers like beer, and they want to spend a week in Munich. I don't know.
Yeah. Hey, maybe they're trying to get some ownership in.
I don't know. I just think every year that you have these teams overseas, away team, it is what it is because it's an away game. You're going to be there for a week. It's interesting, whatever. But I always feel bad for the home fans, and this is the only time that you will ever hear me say that I feel bad for Buccaneers fans, because you normally can count on getting, eight games at home, and now they're going to get 7, and I don't think that's fair for them. I don't think it's fair for any team that has to do that. So I think they need to kind of stop that nonsense. We're not a world league. 3 teams in America.
Yeah.
Right?
It is.
Still have. They still have TV in Europe, right?
That's my check.
You can still watch the game.
I hate to be that guy, but it is different in soccer. Like, it's more of an international game, so it's a bit more normal when a German team goes to play a UK team or a Brazilian team or Portuguese team, whatever that may be. But here it's like, no offense, but if you want to see the Bucks and Seahawks play, you gotta come here.
And I know that there are a lot of NFL fans in Europe, but you know what?
Absolutely.
Buy a ticket. The borders are open. Come on down.
Right. Believe me, if anybody's happy to have you in Florida, we'll gladly have you here. G Money says 6:30 my time, so start the day with Irish coffee and continue with Jameson cold brew. Sounds like a hell of a start at 6:30 in the morning.
No.
It's a morning. That is a morning.
Their whole day's messed up after that.
No, because first of all, G Money is a Marine, so G Money can do whatever he wants to do at 6:30 in the morning.
It's like drinking some fucking Gatorade at 6:30.
But I will say this though, guys. Not all is lost. I will see my Seahawks play this year because I have planned a trip back home in September to where I'm going to stay for 4 days, and G Money and myself are trying to work it out schedule-wise between the Mariners, the Washington Huskies, and the Seattle Seahawks.
Oh, shit.
We're trying to pick a weekend to where we're going to hit all 3 of those games at the same time. So I'm still going to see the Seahawks play at home this next year, but I was hoping to get the 2 games. So
I love that. You're just making the stars align.
Yep. Well, I mean, I guess I have to at this point because, the NFL office is like, fuck you, Malin. So that's cool. Whatever.
It's all right. You can overcome the NFL. I believe in you.
I'm right, I can. Goodell can't even know it. He doesn't even know how to tie a tie anymore. Does he even walking out there at the draft with that fucking tie on? Got Alzheimer's or something. I don't know.
And on that note, we'll move right up out of the NFL into the NBA. So we kind of went over this earlier, but as far as the Warriors and the Grizzlies go, Gary Payton Jr. actually broke his elbow after falling from the flagrant foul that he suffered from Dylan Brooks. So first off, the question to you guys, do you think this was dirty play or not? Like, he was think it was dirty play or not?
I would like to say no, not dirty play at all. It's hard to say. I just like to say shit happens. It is professional sports. Injuries do happen. Things do happen. And I would like to give the benefit of the doubt that shit happens and injuries happen. So I would like to believe better of people.
I think it's just playoff basketball.
Yeah.
Even Draymond Green said that in the playoffs, you're supposed to be able to play a little bit tougher, right? When you look at the play, and what's the name of the guy that hurt him? Because all I do is fuck up people's names on this show.
Dylan Brooks.
Dylan Brooks. Okay, so when you watch the play, I don't think you can see any intent on Brooks's body language or anything to make him fall in such a way to where he breaks his elbow. I will say this. I do think that Brooks fucked up. And if he has bodyguards or not, if he doesn't, he probably should get some. Because Gary Payton, his father, is probably going to whoop your ass. He's probably going to put a glove on and beat the shit out of you. Because he ain't fucking around. If there's one dad that I would not want to cross in the NBA, it would be Gary Payton.
Yeah.
He does not give a shit about anything. Never has. I'm pretty sure he called Michael Jordan a pussy in an interview during the 96 NBA Finals. He does not give a damn. So he's probably figuring out a way on how to take the kneecaps off of Brooks right now. It's probably going to happen.
Yeah, he did. That was the worst possible player to knock out of a series. But I'm with you guys. I don't think it was necessarily dirty. Like you said, Malin, I think it's just playoff basketball. It wasn't like when Brooks directly broke his elbow. It wasn't took him, grabbed him by the arm and threw him on the ground and he broke his elbow. He did just hit him in the head and was just trying to make sure he did not score a layup. So
and
there's
that's
that.
protecting the paint.
Right.
You're protecting the paint. You're making people think twice about feeling like can go into a layup. And how many
Exactly.
people do you see fall like Peyton 2 did and not break an elbow? Like how many people have we seen fall flat on their
Right.
back, feet in
Right.
the air, and they're fine?
It was
Like to
just-
me, it was more of like a freak accident.
Yeah, it was free accident more than anything
So-
else. And like playoff basketball, it's kind of retaliation. Like if we look back, like we were mentioning earlier, Draymond injuring, or he didn't injure him, but the flagrant foul on I think it was Clark in the paint. Like that's what happens. Like they're gonna say, all right, if you're gonna hit one of our guys, we're gonna hit one of yours. And I gotta say, I almost made this my what's up with that. Steve Kerr, please stop. Him saying
God.
Dylan Brooks broke a
Breaking
code.
the rules,
Yeah.
unwritten rule. What is this, baseball?
Like,
What are we
stop.
doing?
You coach Draymond Green. Like, do we need to go back one game when your own player just had an ejection as well? Like, stop. Like, this is playoff basketball. It's as simple as that. I don't necessarily think it's dirty on either side. It's playoff basketball.
I didn't think that basketball had unwritten rules like baseball, to where
Right.
there's apparently a million things you're not supposed to do in baseball because you're going to offend somebody. But I do agree with you a little bit. I do think it's a little bit with a correlation to baseball, to where, if one pitcher hits a batter from the other team, the next
Yeah.
pitcher that goes up from the other team is probably going to beam your batter.
Right.
He's not aiming at the head. He's not trying to kill the guy. But he's going to enforce the middle a little bit, and he's going to make you know that, hey, yeah, you got Draymond Green, and you guys are tough, but guess what? We're tough too. There was not intent to break an elbow.
Yeah.
And I will say this: I feel bad, for Peyton too, because he was playing good ball in the playoffs. And an elbow is not something. Now, I was never very good at basketball, but I would like to think that an elbow is an important part of the body with your shooting form, and that's not something you necessarily want to break if you're a basketball player. So he is going to have a little bit of a long recovery ahead of himself, but I hope that he's able to come back to the type of form that he was, because he was making a name for himself outside of being Gary Payton's kid.
Right.
And he hit some tough shots in the first series. That were pretty spectacular. So he was on his way to making a pretty good name for himself on this Golden State squad. And I feel bad that he's going to have to miss the rest of the year.
Yeah, that seems like a hard one to rehab from, to like get your jump shot back when you're rehabbing that elbow. So nothing but the best to him. Just freak accident, him just trying to break his fall, and that's what happens. But yeah,
Or out there trying to act like he didn't play basketball in the 90s.
Stupid. Like,
Word.
Steve Kerr, save it. Please save it.
Good God.
Last but not least, Tyler Hero won Sixth Man of the Year. That was a pretty, like, I don't think anybody else was doubting that he was going to win that award. Man, it's been absolutely on fire for the past few months. Shaq, what do you think about your own winning Sixth Man of the Year?
I'm happy for him. I'm also happy to see y'all give some sort of acknowledgement to people on my team. So I think it's very well deserved. This man's been popping off. He did really well in the bubble. Was very questionable, but now he's kind of like back. I'm hoping he continue like.
Well, if you look at who he was dating that next year, it would explain why he was.
I mean, sometimes that it comes to that the blinders get put on. It really just be. It's hard to focus on ball when you really just thinking about ball. So it's just, yeah.
Malin, what do you think about Hero Sixth Man of the Year?
I think it's well deserved. I mean, he was a clear choice to be a Sixth Man of the Year. The question I have for Shaq: how is the best player on your team coming off the bench? Like, you have a starting five, but the best player is a sixth man. Like, I don't understand that. Like, what is?
We are a well-rounded team. Everybody's good on our team. Thank you very much.
But the best player on your squad can't even start.
But we are still winning games, still being productive, still getting things done.
Okay, but you're not answering the question. I mean, the man led the team in points for the last 3 months. He's leading the team in points now in the playoffs. How is the man not starting? Like, why is he still coming off the bench? Like, what the heck is going on over there in Miami?
There's a lot going on, man. But team wise, I just couldn't tell you on what the strategy about that is. I guess they found a way to make it work.
There you go, Shaq.
You're a man of few words, Shaq.
In all reality, you couldn't tell me shit about basketball if that's my day-to-day life.
I'm just saying that. Okay. Hold on just a second. Jalen, all this man does is say that we never give him shine on this team, right? I just opened up a platform for him to talk about his own team. He can't do it. Can't do it. He doesn't know why Hero is coming off the bench. Just team is good.
It's coming off of something.
Well-rounded. You know what else is well-rounded? My belly. But my belly is not coming off the bench for an NBA team. So my belly's not winning Sixth Man of the Year. But it's well-rounded. So saying, gave you the opportunity to talk your team up during this part of the show. And you said 5 words.
I just think that it's nice to have that. See, like you want to have that burst off the bench. I mean, you'd be hard pressed to have anybody better than Tyler Hero. Also, relatively new dad. Obviously had a kid recently, which was no surprise. Just throw that out there.
No.
So he's sleep deprived. He doesn't have a lot of injury. That's why he's coming off the bench. He ain't got that.
Sure, I always sleep deprived too. If I was coming home.
Okay. All right.
Can't get a wink of sleep.
Lord. Shaq. God.
Man, it's 24 years young, balling. Crazy.
On and off the court.
Anyway, we're gonna move on before anything else is said that shouldn't be. So, what's up with that is our next segment of the show. This is where we air out what we currently have in our heart that is giving our heart complications for the next 7 days or so.
I got.
Shaq, go ahead. What's on your heart there,
that?
sir?
What is with Tampa Bay celebrating sports that aren't even natural for our environment, and a basketball team that could be? We have they're over there commemorating the Lightning, which were down in the series tonight, and the Heat game was going on, and they could. I literally went to go eat real quick at this bar before I came here, and they had the Lightning game on about 17 TVs. And then the Heat game on like one television in the corner.
Just be ashamed.
I was like, y'all can't play anything else besides Lightning game? Hockey's even natural here. When was the last time any of y'all saw ice outside the ring? And here we are over here celebrating watching Lightning game. Can you please put the Heat game on more than just one random TV in the corner of the bar? That every single other person, every other brown person is huddled around this one TV trying to watch this game.
Brown person.
Yes. And it was like that game 1 of playoffs for the Lightning. It's like, everywhere you go, legit, they have one TV playing basketball and every other game playing hockey. It's like, I expect better of you, Tampa Bay, to at least celebrate other sports besides the one Lightning. Y'all, Lightning were good, just started getting good these past couple of years, and all of a sudden, everybody and their mother watches hockey. I did not see anybody else talk about hockey when Lightning were bad, and all of a sudden they started getting good, and everybody and their mother become professional season ticket holders. Stop it.
This was the series for the first round of the playoffs, 1-1 against the Leafs. But yeah, you're absolutely right. I don't know what the fuck. For a very long time, I didn't even know that Tampa had a hockey
Exactly.
team.
Tampa's a city of bandwagon. People didn't become Bucks fans all of a sudden. Tampa Bay.
I knew the Rays were here. I knew the Bucks were here. I had no idea that they had a hockey team for a very long time.
Exactly. The only reason I knew these goons had a freaking hockey team is because every single artist that comes down and performs in Tampa performs in a fucking arena.
Right, the arena they're playing on. Yep, that's how you find that.
Only other reason I knew if you had a freaking hockey team was like, the hell? What did they use this building for? Hockey. What? Hockey. Exactly. It's like, can you please broaden our spectrum on Tampa or anything other than hockey that wasn't good until like a couple years ago? Thank you.
Malin, what's up with that?
No, that at least twice during the show you say something that's like spot on. I wholeheartedly agree with. And you know my what's up with that has to do with Tampa fans too. Because I went to a Mariners. Nope. Hey, hold on. I went to a Mariners Rays game. Both teams at the time were leading their division. Right? For 4,000 people in the stands. This baseball game. Now the Rays are a good team. They've been a good team for damn near a decade. In fact, they went to a World Series. They lost. That's funny. But Tampa Bay even likes to clout that is winning a championship because they won the American League. So that's part of their Tampa Bay stuff, which is dumb as shit. So I kind of feel like I'm walking around a million retarded people every time I go out in public because they just don't understand sports. And like Shaq says, they are very bandwagon people. Now I walk around the city, and all I see is people wearing Tampa Bay stuff. Go to a goddamn game. Support your team. Go over to Howard Franklin, the Gandy. I don't give a shit. Go support your team. Like, what the hell? Like, why are the Rays, that are one of the top 10 teams over the last decade, always in the bottom 5 in attendance every single year? The only time that stadium is filled during the regular season is when they're playing the Yankees, and 3/4 of his Yankees fans. So it's ridiculous. I think it's stupid. Tampa Bay doesn't even deserve a baseball team at this point. The fans are stupid.
Or much of a team in the first place.
And I don't want them. I do not want the Rays to leave because I like being able to go see my Mariners, once a year, being down here in Tampa, being from Seattle. So I don't want them to go back to Montreal. I don't want that to happen. But if they don't get their act together, then it's going to happen. But at the same token, how can the city of Tampa still not have a stadium in Tampa? Why is it still in St. Pete? The Trop is the worst stadium in all of baseball. You walk in there and you feel like you're in just one giant fucking urinal. Like, it's just disgusting. The whole stadium is stupid. It makes no sense. There's little to no energy in the ballpark. You have literally, out of the 4,000 people to go to a game, there's like 10 of them. They're hardcore. They're going at it. And I sat next to one of them at this game. And this guy was in he looked like the Joker. He was in a purple suit, a green shirt, a purple tie, and he had the fucking cowbell. And I was like, why do you have a cowbell? They're the Rays. Like, why did the cowbell become a thing? Like, they're not fucking cows. They're Rays. Like, it's in the water. Like, what the... Something amphibious. I don't know. What the fuck? But that's what they do. Like, that's what Tampa fans do. Create something that makes no sense, and then it becomes a staple for that team. Tampa fans, stupid. Support your team.
Yes.
God's sake. It's a good team.
One of the few hardcore Tampa Bay Bucks fan I have that I know is my uncle. That man has been a season pass holder to every single Bucks game since I couldn't remember. The man, 10,000 jerseys lined up. The man goes to spring training camps, sit there watching these games out. He invited me to watch. Like, you want to come watch the spring training games? He was like, I don't know why I would want to come and watch that myself. Watch these sweaty ass goons come out here to go 4-12 this next season. I'm really not interested in seeing this, but it's like, I give him credit though. Dedicated. This man out here in the middle of the heat watching his team be sorry during spring training. But
here's the thing I'll say about Bucks fans, okay? Because first of all, we all agree they're bandwagon fans, right? Like, if your team is bad, they're not going to show up, but you're still going to have some diehards. You have no excuse when it comes to the Rays and when it comes to the Lightning because it's indoors.
Thank you.
If your team is bad in Tampa or whatever, like I've been to a Tampa game with my wife, watched the Carolina Panthers. It's like 120 degrees in the seats.
Right.
I was miserable. I was like, I'm going to need a hospital after I go to this game. So if that team is bad, I can understand that.
the Rays, like, it's indoors.
Yeah, that
air conditioned. Go to the goddamn games. But I will say this now: the Lightning fans, okay, because I didn't get a chance to talk about Shaq's. What's up with that? Lightning fans. Oh my God! Over the last decade, how much have I heard about people being diehard Lightning? Let them be bad for 2 years. All the Lightning shit is coming off people's cars. They won't give a shit about that team if they start doing bad again. But they've been relevant for a decade, so they sell out and they go to that game. Even though, like Shaq said, 90% of them never seen fucking snow, so it makes no goddamn sense. But let them be bad for 2 years, and no one's going to go to those games either, because Tampa fans are the most bandwagon people ever. Ever. Fuck Tampa Bay.
I still remember 2020 when the Rays were in, I forget what it's called in baseball. It's not the conference. Basically, like the series before you get to the World Series.
ALCS.
Yeah, ALCS. Thank you. Yeah, downtown St. Pete. There were. I promise you, we'd never find this in any other major sports city in America. There were more people out and about at the restaurants and bars in downtown St. Pete while they're in the ALCS than there were at the Trop, which is in downtown St. Pete. Like, you could look at the parking lot and see a plethora of open spaces, but yet actual downtown St. Pete was popping and there was like nobody at the Trop. It's like, huh? Like the Dodgers at the time, I guarantee you would not be able to find any parking at that stadium. But then you look at the Rays and it's
like,
just asinine.
But it's the difference in fan bases. I feel like Dodgers, they could be bad for like a decade and they would still sell out stadiums. They would still sell out this and being absolutely dreadful and bad. While the Rays are like popping and they cannot sell out stuff and still be winning and do well, which is asinine to me to think of a team doing really well and still struggle to sell tickets for some odd reason.
You guys want to know one thing that is kind of funny though? Is that we are 3 guys doing a sports show in Tampa, and we hate Tampa sports.
All 3 of us.
There's not a single one of us that likes a single Tampa team. I love it. That's why we work so well together.
Yeah, but it's not even the team; it's the fan base that we hate.
I know it has nothing to do with the team.
Yeah, the teams do wonderful these past couple of years. It's the people that we live amongst that are the fan base. That's kind of like you watch them. It's kind of like y'all treat sports. For people who are diehard sports fans of this state, y'all treat these sports so badly.
Like fashion trends.
Exactly. Yeah, the Rays do bad for one season. Fuck the Rays. I'm like, y'all to commit and dedicate to what y'all either how you love your team.
They never got over Philly.
He's like, them stickers on the car easily removable. I promise you. I see one more Bucks flag. I can't tell. Look.
All right, let's go ahead and get into Jalen's what's up with that before we keep talking about Tampa sports fans for the next half hour.
So speaking of LA, my what's up with that? I know we said we weren't talking about the Lakers, but this is a Laker. What's up with that? Why?
Oh my God, you found a way to bring the Lakers into this show?
We've gone too long without talking about them.
God damn.
Why is Phil Jackson being a advisor, whatever you want to call him? He has a say in who the next coach of the Lakers is. This does not make any sense to me whatsoever. What has Phil Jackson done in the past decade that has shown that his opinion should be taken into consideration when it comes to anything in the current NBA? I understand that he does, or he did have some kind of relationship with Jeannie Buss, so I'm sure that's probably why. But the Lakers it's like they're taking advice from everybody that has a track record of saying you should not take advice from them, like Kurt Rambis and Phil Jackson. Like, no, they have shown that they're not very good in their current roles, and here they are trying to pick the next coach with Phil Jackson's. Go at it. I don't give a damn about the Lakers, but it doesn't make any sense to me as why they're doing that.
I understand.
I will say this.
say this, that Phil Jackson has not done anything in the last decade. Okay? But he does have a decade worth of championships. I will say that.
He does.
Man is the only 10-time NBA champion as a coach. But you are right in the fact that the Lakers, they are like the only team that can't get out of their own way.
Yeah.
They, every time they need to make a big decision, they go back to somebody in the past that used to make them great and want their input, try to help make them great
Right.
again. It's like, I don't know, it's like a family of a bunch of inbreds, man. It's like you get dumber every time inbreds have kids. They need to knock it off. They need to stop it. They need to get some outside help to make themselves relevant again, because they are one of the flagship teams in the NBA. The NBA is better when the Lakers are relevant, just like the NBA is better when Boston's relevant.
Right.
But yeah, Phil Jackson, I mean, listen, just because you used to date the owner of the team doesn't mean that you're necessarily qualified to pick a head coach a decade after you've been out of the league. The only thing I'll say is that it looks like the Lakers are trying to move away from LeBron James.
Yeah. Yeah.
That they don't want him to have say in stuff anymore, even though the say that he did have bring a championship to the Lakers, which did tie them with our Boston Celtics, even though I hate that. And, you know, yeah, LeBron James missed with Russell Westbrook. But what did LeBron James want to have happen in the middle of the year? He wanted them to get rid of Westbrook and bring somebody else in. And what did the Lakers do? Said no. Like,
Yeah.
blame him for bringing Westbrook in, but then you say no to getting rid of him, like trying to fix it, and now you want to bring in Phil Jackson to bring in the next coach when you probably never should have brought in Vogel to begin with, because he never did anything really of relevance with Indiana in the first place. Like, the bubble Lakers were going to win a championship no matter who the coach was, because Anthony Davis was actually healthy, so they were going to win that championship. Because that was the only 2 months that Anthony Davis was actually healthy in his career. Of course, they were going to win it in the bubble. Vogel had very little to do with that. So I just think the Lakers are just floundering. It's kind of funny to watch.
It is.
But, you know, I don't know. I cut you off, Shaq. I apologize, sir.
No, you're good. All great opinions and like great like statements. My thing about it is the controversial statement I'm gonna say. It's the same thing with Jordan per se. Jordan is the owner of a team that is not relevant, and they are trying to figure out the aspect of is Jordan being the owner of this team is kind of like, it's not really not helping out. This man hasn't done much to be relevant.
As a GM,
yeah, since he retired, just because he's a legendary Hall of Fame greatest to ball or hoop ever isn't gonna make him
Yeah, I mean,
a great owner, GM.
He's terrible.
Terrible at it. The man is just we strictly know this man as a businessman, and he's strictly here to gain the profits of what he can out of it. He's not exactly making any wonderful, great decisions as a GM for your team, and stop pretending like he is. Yes, the man knows.
Go ahead.
I'm just saying, it's like the man knew that selling shoes and doing that was going to be very profitable because of his career, and he did that. Owning a team, bring him another set of profit. Doesn't make that team any better. That team will not be any better. But no matter, look.
I will say this: that Michael Jordan is not the GM of the Hornets. He's not Jerry Jones.
He's the owner.
He is the owner. He is the owner. And you know what, Shaq? I'll say this: I don't think you should disrespect Jordan. We're trying to disrespect the Lakers. Two separate entities. I think that the Lakers flounder amongst themselves enough without having to bring Jordan's name into it. Because listen, the biggest thing the Lakers have going on right now is the Winning Time show, HBO's airing, and what's going on with that? You got Jerry West wanting to sue him because of the way he's portrayed in the show, even though everyone knows that it's based off of truth, but it's also a lot of fiction to make good television. And so when the best thing that a franchise has is a fictitious show that one of the Lakers greats is trying to sue, was based in the 80s, Your team's not doing good. You're not doing good as a team. And a fictitious show about your team in the 80s is the hottest thing going on with your club right now. That's some crazy crap.
It is absolutely egregious to me that LeBron makes the decision of let's go get Westbrook, and then by the trade deadline it's like, hey, we need to get off of him, like let's trade him, and the Lakers were basically like, no, you made this bed, we're gonna make you lie in it. Like, that actually makes no sense. Like, I get it if you fuck up, but the fact that LeBron was like, hey, I would like to correct this, let's make right on this, and they were still like, nope, let's sit in our shit. Like, you had the chance to get out.
Is Pelinka not the GM of the Lakers?
Exactly.
Okay, first of all, we can get into someone being their last name Pelinka at a later date, but Pelinka is the GM of the team. Yet they came out, fed it to the LA media that they're blaming LeBron James over the Westbrook deal. Like, who's the player? Who's the GM? Like, how small do you want to try to make yourself?
Thank you.
It's like blaming the math teacher instead of the principal and why the school's a bad place in the first place. It's like, excuse me? Who here running the school?
And what happened to your education, Shaq? Shit.
I started in Florida. That was my first problem.
Who hurt your feelings in high school? That was...
You want a
Apparently, there's a math teacher that Shaq loved in high school that got fired over something.
We got a time left in the show for
that.
It's a different show.
It's a whole different show on a Friday night.
It's the dating show. All right, let's get out what's up with that, because we'll be here until 2 a.m.
I feel this show's a big show. I could talk forever about anything whatsoever.
Yeah.
You could literally say socks, and this show would go on for like 2 hours on category socks.
Damn right we could. Them no-look socks.
Exactly my point.
Yeah.
All right.
Everybody knows you're wearing socks. What the fuck?
The Rider Diet in 25. Here we go. So, last week, or I guess technically 2 weeks ago, so Malin was 5-1 last week, which makes him plus 34.
Say that again one more time. Okay. Plus what?
He was cinco y uno plus.
Yeah, but what am plus 34?
Cuatro.
Plus 34?
For Spanish-speaking viewers.
Plus 34? Oh my God, I'm plus 34.
He is plus 34 right now. I don't know if my Spanish pronunciation was perfect, but I am 85, 85 and 66. 3-3 last week, just maintained. Yeah. That's plus 19. Shaq. Let me get a round of applause. Shaq was over 500 for 2 consecutive weeks. That made me a first on this show. Plus 3, baby.
Can't nobody tell me shit on the show now.
First of all, how many weeks of a head start does Shaq have on me?
At least about 50.
A lot. Probably about 50.
I'm only 5 wins away from him. Plus 3 and I'm plus 34. Bam! Say a lot of shit.
This is the world we live in. But yeah, folks, that is the standings right now. It is nice to say that as a collective, we can officially say, if you were to bet money based off what we're saying, you would be statistically winning money more than you lose money. So,
I'm just saying, since March 16th, and we're in May now, since March 16th, I've only bet wrong 5 times. Just throwing it out there. I'm just saying.
Malin taking the Westbrook approach right now.
Okay.
Okay, first of all, my bets back it up. All right, I'm not out here throwing bricks, building homes for the needy. Okay, backing it up with the bets, people. Let's go.
All right, so we gave our predictions already for Dallas and Phoenix. Currently, that score is 62-64 Suns right now. So there's that. But moving into Friday at 7 o'clock, Shaq's series here with his Heat Going to the Sixers, Shaq, who do you think wins game 3? Embiid still kind of up in the air. They got to evaluate him. So, how do you think this will play out?
It's very iffy. No, I'm gonna commit. I'm gonna say the Heat win this game, even if he does come back to play this game. It's kind of like the man's been out for a hot minute, coming back. I still say we got the number. We win this game, go up 3-0. If we do drop a game, it's gonna be that game 4 that we're gonna end up dropping, go 3-1, and then end up winning the game, winning the series. But I do say that we win this next game. This at this point in time, it's kind of like we get the lead and we keep the lead and maintain throughout the whole entire game. We stay consistent. We play hard, and I say we do win this game 3.
Malin.
MB, do meme, mom bead, your mother's meme.
All
Don't matter
right.
if he plays or not, people.
I hear your mother's
Miami's
bead, is
going to
that
win
what I
this game. Miami's going to win this game. They're probably going to sweep them. It don't even matter. The best players are going to come off the bench and midway through the first quarter for Miami. Lead the team in scoring for the umpteenth time. Miami. Okay.
I'm also going Miami on this one. I don't see Embiid returning in this game. And even if he did, I'm sure he probably wouldn't be feeling it 100%. So, yeah, I agree with you guys. I think Miami wins this on the road. Depending on how this game goes, this very well could be a sweep. Because I still don't think that he'll be back for this game anyway in game 3. So,
And at that point in time, you not coming back game 3, being down 3-0 in the series, do you, as a player, do you necessarily want to come back?
Ben Simmons.
All right. Me as a player, I'm like,
Ben
no.
Simmons is having back surgery. So, he's not
back surgery.
Okay.
Yeah,
this man
back
ain't
surgery.
Doing what?
The Phillies being led by James Harden. Rest my case.
All right. Next game, Phoenix going to Dallas. This is also Friday night, the later game at 9:30. Game 3 of this series, like we mentioned, game 2 is still currently going on, so it's a little harder to predict this until we see the outcome of this. But Malin, who do you think wins game 3 of this?
Well, I picked Phoenix to win game 2. But I think Luka in front of his home crowd probably drop 45 points. I look for Dallas to not get swept. I think at best it's going to be a gentleman's sweep. And even if they're down 0-2, I look for Dallas to be able to pull off that first game at home. Picking Dallas.
G Money says maybe they can find Simmons' spine.
Well, they were looking. Philly was looking for it for years, but they can never find it. So that's why they traded him to Brooklyn.
Another comment I saw on YouTube was someone saying, Simmons hurt his back picking up them checks. As far as this series goes,
I love our chat room. By the way, these people are perfect. These are the best sports fans ever.
Yeah, I'm gonna take. Give me Phoenix to win this one. It's looking like I'm probably gonna be wrong in this game, even though the Suns are only up by 4 right now. I feel like they're about to pull away in this game, and Dallas doesn't want to get completely embarrassed. They'll be back on their home court, and I guess I'm taking Dallas in 2 games back to back.
You just say you're taking? Didn't you just say you're taking Phoenix?
No, I'm sorry. I'm taking Phoenix.
I was about to say, did you change your mind? And
no I didn't.
Wait, which game? Game 3?
Game 2, I took Dallas. This game, I'm taking Phoenix.
Okay, so you're just completely ass backwards. Okay, that's cool.
Yeah. Shaq.
I'm taking Phoenix to win this game. I have the utmost confidence in this team.
So we're all taking
Phoenix
in this game.
These games are going to be close.
No, I said Dallas in game 3.
That's right, okay.
Hey, Shaq. Tell us how Phoenix is going to win the 3rd game in a row.
Look, I'm just saying they keep these games close up until the late couple minutes of the game, and they just pull away. Just like psych, we ain't really playing with y'all like that. So still say Phoenix gonna win this game.
Oh, I like that pick because that's going to be closer to Clips and Shaq here. Because he
Alright.
normally picks who I pick. I like it.
Shout out to Clutch in the chat. He says, "What are your thoughts on the Chiefs in the draft?" Shaq brought this up earlier. I don't know if you want to paraphrase what you had
Paraphrase.
said earlier.
The Chiefs did really well. They emphasized on their defense because since they already have a powerhouse of an offense, they're just trying to make sure they just improve on the one small category they can use improvement on defense.
There you go, Clutch. Next game in the Ride or Die in 25, Boston at Milwaukee. I'm going to say this is a back and forth type series, and Milwaukee will hold their home court. You know, they're back there, and I think they will win Game 3 in a relatively close game. I think the series is going to start to balance itself out. Both wins so far have been pretty lopsided, and I think now as we get into Game 3 and 4, it will get much closer, and things will really start to solidify here. So this will be a closer game, but I think Milwaukee will end up winning this one. But I think Boston will get Game 4 to tie this thing up. So yeah, I think Milwaukee wins Game 3. Shaq.
I think actually Boston wins Game 3. I think they're right off of momentum right now. I feel like it's just enough to push them through the advantage of not having home court, and it gets them. It's like I said, it's been a very close game. Last minute or two of the game, we were back and forth, really trying to decide. But I say you guys sneak it out and do get this win. It's gonna be one of those dramatic endings to these games. Like you're already standing and pacing back and forth over the last couple of seconds. So I'll give it to Boston to win this game. Go up 2-1.
Malin.
What kind of fan are you, Jalen? What are we doing?
I'm being realistic here.
What in the world? No. Okay, first of all, Milwaukee caught Boston sleeping the first game. Boston looked very, very lethargic in the first game, especially defensively. And they figured some stuff out defensively without their best defensive player playing in the game. And he's probably going to play in Game 3. I'm going Boston on this one. And I agree with you guys that I think that it's going to be like a close game in the sense that it's going to be kind of like back and forth throughout most of the game, but I don't think that the ending score is going to be necessarily close. I think Boston's probably going to pull away towards the end. And I think they'll probably, first of all, the last 2 minutes of any basketball game lasts half an hour. It's just bullshit that it does that. But I think that Boston's probably going to win by like probably 8 to 10 points on that one. They're going to take Game 3, and they're going to take Game 4, Jalen.
I hope that I am wrong. I would love to be wrong on this pick, but we'll see. Last but not least, Saturday night, Grizzlies at the Warriors at 8:30 for Game 3. Malin, who do you think? Or sorry, Shaq, who do you think wins this one?
I said Golden State wins this game. This is where Golden State really starts to catch momentum. As long as Green can behave himself and really just play basketball, leave his regular antics out of the way and poop, I say this is where Golden State really starts to shine. So I'm going to say Golden State.
Malin?
I think Game 3 at home in Golden State. And Golden State's going to take this one. I think that they're gonna feed off of that home crowd. They're gonna be going nuts because I think everyone was really excited about Golden State going into the series, and all of a sudden they dropped Game 2, and now all the pundits are saying, "Oh, well, maybe Golden State has a chink in the armor because Gary Payton 2 is not going to be playing." No, they're a great team without him. I think they're going to go off, and I think they're going to show Memphis that they're a force to be reckoned with. So I'm picking Golden State at home.
Yeah, I don't think Gary Payne Jr. had that much of a effect on the team as a whole, and I think Warriors going back to the Chase Center, I think they'll take care of their business in that first game back, and then put the ball in the Grizzlies' court for Game 4 to see what they're gonna do with their kind of backs up against the wall. So, yeah, I think the Warriors will get their business taken care of at home, and yeah, we're all in agreement on that one. So,
all right. So we all know that I'm only gonna miss on one pick this week. So what do you guys think the one pick that I'm gonna miss on this week is? What do you think it is?
What pick did he disagree with me on? I know there was one that he didn't disagree. They didn't agree with me.
The only one you guys were not agreeing on was Game 3 of Suns and Mavs.
I'm hoping that's the game he gets wrong. That kind of boosts me up in morale. Not that it does much from an overall record, but morale for myself.
I'm just saying, I'm going to be plus 38 next week. Gonna happen.
I like the confidence.
Shoot, if I can go positive again this next coming week,
3 weeks,
3 weeks in a row. Me being
okay, first of all, Jack, you picked 4 out of the same 5 games as me. You damn well better be positive.
I went ahead
week.
of you most of these picks, so it's not even like I spoon fed off of you for these picks.
No, at this point, Shaq has been riding my coattails
all
for
right.
2 months.
If he goes positive on this
the heavy lifting, the heavy. He knows who I'm gonna pick. Heavy lifting that I'm doing. For
Not
Shaq
this man. All because I got a big ass
ridiculous.
head and forehead. I'm predicting the future with my mega mind.
It is ridiculous. It is. This man's got some telepathy shit.
Yes.
My big ass forehead and his. He knows who I'm gonna pick.
Whether I pick for him or not, before him or not. Do I need to pick for the round 4 also? Is that what I need to do right now? Let's pick for round 4 so you don't say
Strange.
Exactly. So you can say I'm not spoon feeding off of you.
You doing more than spoon feeding, but goddamn.
All right, folks. Anything else you guys want to mention before we exit?
Oh, this shit is great, and Miami Heat's still one of the best complete teams.
I would just like to take credit for Shaq being over 500 in his picks.
All right.
He picks all the same people that I do. And I think I only made 2 forehead jokes.
And the other ones were about people dying.
That's a record. That's a record for me.
I mean, Tampa fans deserve to be made fun of. If you're
the
allowed
one
to...
forehead joke that I made during the break does not count, so there was only 2.
Yep.
But I'm about to patent step stool, the likeness of Shaq's forehead. That's gonna make some money.
And my
truckers out there, think of how useful that would be.
And all I'm saying is, your favorite team is a team based off of ice. When you've never seen ice in your life outside of your freezer, you deserve to get made fun of.
God.
Listen, new Doctor Strange comes out this Friday. I think we should have a petition to get Benedict Cumberbatch out of there and replace him with Shaq as the lead for Doctor Strange, because he has been looking into the future as of late. So that's my vote.
Oh no, this head sees all the futures. Okay.
First of all, with that forehead, he better be seeing something that other people aren't seeing. He's seeing higher than everybody else. Yeah. Okay, so that's number 3. That's number 3. God damn it.
Kinda,
you guys just end the show.
It's kind of baited. And I was like, if I keep bringing up my head and bringing up all that, Mel's
baited me. That's not fair.
I was very much.
You know what I would like to see happen? I would like to see Shaq shave his head. I want to see how big that
Stop
head
it.
actually is. I want you to do a Mike Tomlin.
4 razors
Do a
later,
Mike
still
Tomlin.
trying to shave my head.
One time.
it's bad enough
Better
that I
get
feel,
get a bigger living room if Shaq shaves his head.
Shoot.
I feel
Whenever I
the
get a
whole goddamn
haircut,
space.
I actually tip my barber because I know damn well your heart and be cramping by the end of my haircut.
Poor guy.
He starts at the left side of his head. By the time he gets to the right, he's like backed up in the time zone. It's like I started at 2 and it's 12 o'clock. What the hell are we doing? All right, that's 4. God damn. End the show, people.
It just ate lunch. It's
like I usually charge
Like,
$20. I usually charge $20 a him. I'm gonna charge you for about 52 here in a minute. Keep playing around with
He's
me.
like, I ate lunch. He's like, I ate lunch at 1. Now it's 12 o'clock and I'm hungry again. What the hell is going on here?
Yeah, I still gotta edge your head too. That's a whole different adventure.
All right,
Your
folks.
barber does time travel to some shit.
That part of the Avengers when they go back to get all the stones and they got time travel.
Can't anymore. Somebody in the show. I got these jokes all day. Let's do it.
I told you this
Love you
show
all,
could go on
man.
forever about any random
This is
thing.
great. Apparently, could all we got to do is do a lap around your head, and
And we're stuck in a conundrum.
that's 5 jokes now. God damn it, end the show, people.
All right, folks. We will see you next week. For
All right,
episode
and if
84.
you're going off the time frame in my head, see you in about 5 minutes. Let's go.